I posted a video trying out 3 different sports anime for the first time, and I gave my first impressions on Blue Lock. Since then, I've been non-stop watching Blue Lock, and I am now fully caught up. So let's talk about this insane sports anime so I can give you guys my thoughts on it, and you can decide if this is a show that you might want to watch too. Now, I do suggest you check out my first impressions on Blue Lock here on this video just to kind of get an idea. But a quick summary here, I love the first 3 episodes that I watched. I think looking back at it now, those episodes did a great job at building up what Blue Lock was going to be. And I think now after catching up, my general first impressions on Blue Lock were still very accurate and on point, so props to me. However, obviously watching more has deepened my appreciation for this show. I can't lie, everything I liked in the first 3 episodes has been only further established and revised to be even better. Let's start honestly first just with our characters though. So my first impressions video, I kind of explained that Blue Lock does have a great roster of really unique characters, but kind of suffers from having a blank, kind of empty MC. And I don't necessarily completely disagree with that at this point, but I do think now I appreciate our main character for what they are. Our main character is not a deep character yet, and that is kind of the key point. Either our MC will be built up later on, which is totally fine, or I think he'll kind of remain this blank slate really. And both of these honestly are fine options for me, because it's not like our main character is boring or irrelevant, far from that entirely. And honestly, we do see everything from his perspective, so it's not like this character is completely irrelevant. But I think the character might be left kind of like a blank slate on purpose, so that way our main character can remain more relatable, and instead of acting as like a giant pillar of attention and just making all of our eyes gravitate towards our main character, they kind of act like a mirror in a way, just almost bouncing off of everyone around them, so that way we kind of get full attention to all our other characters and our main character can remain just kind of a standard character, you know? Also, I think an anime where our main character is not the most insane, OP, overly developed character is actually really refreshing. I think the idea that our main character is just a guy that really loves soccer and just really wants to play the game and become better at it and become the best player in the world is a really kind of super just general relatable take for I think any sports anime, right? Especially when you consider the insane storyline that we're in, that all these characters are kind of locked down to compete against each other. I think having kind of just a standard main character is fine. Now on the topic of story within Blue Lock, it does not disappoint at all. While it's not gone insanely complex since I started, it has very much been refined. I think the show can start off feeling a bit quick and overwhelming with how fast it takes off in the first episode, but once you're in there watching it, it takes a step back and manages to come off very simple and honestly kind of charming at times. And we have gotten some backstory on certain characters so far, but I'm still hoping we get more backstory within our main team that we see. While Blue Lock develops the story further, it also develops the characters at the same time. Since our opposing team changes almost every episode, our main team we follow stays predominantly the same up until the last few episodes, so we do kind of gain an attachment to almost every character that we meet, kind of like My Hero, how in My Hero you focus more on Class 1A. Blue Lock focuses more on Team Z mainly so far. They do kind of switch up the team a little bit towards the end, or at least where the anime is currently at, so I'm not sure if we get back to Team Z or kind of what happens with that, but I wouldn't be against seeing other teams' perspective eventually, because right now we see everything through Team Z's perspective mainly. I think seeing things through other teams' perspectives would also be kind of cool, but at the same time I do like the feeling that it's like us, you know, Team Z versus everyone else. I kind of like that vibe too, so either way is fine. But you know it's not fine, not subscribing to the channel. If you guys could go and subscribe and like the video, that'd be great. I put so much work and effort into these videos to get them out quickly for you guys, so subscribing and liking would be awesome. It would mean the world. Let's get back to it. We very quickly do find out that some people on our team might not have the best interest in mind, and we kind of see that some people on our team are, you know, cockroaches kind of. They just want to skate by and just move on forward. So I think this idea of like friend or foe is really cool, and we do see towards like episode 14 and 15 that some characters that we used to go against, you know, that might be considered rivals before, do kind of end up being teammates later on. So this idea of mixing people in is actually really cool, and I think that could develop further into kind of what we see maybe in the end game with which player gets to be the forward that they choose. I think the one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about though is that we don't have a consistent villain in the story. I think cycling different teams out and different characters out as a rival is fine, but I think we might be losing a little bit of consistency by not having a villain or enemy throughout the show really. So that's just kind of a little concern, but again, not something I'm super worried about. Now, while the show doesn't have a consistent villain or enemy, it does consistently give some of the best shots in my opinion, anime I've seen in a while. I feel like some of these shots of them shooting into the goal or passing or anything like that always comes off really, really well done. The art style in the show is honestly one of my favorite parts, and I really like how the show uses it a ton, but doesn't really overdo it, if that makes any sense. It can take the most mundane thing like just dribbling down the field and make it just feel so action-packed. The way Blue Lock manages to craft such a good story while maintaining a high consistent level of style is honestly just really satisfying. While I'm mainly positive on the show, I do have some concerns, or rather future thoughts. First off, they say this tournament, being Blue Lock, is meant to find the best forward in soccer, that being like a single person, right? Yeah, after the first episode, it's all been team games or stuff like that mainly, right? So I have a theory that this whole looking for the best forward thing is actually a lie, and instead they're looking for the best overall team to represent Japan. They're using this idea of everyone trying for one position to further drive everyone to do their best, which I guess makes sense. But if all these people are just trying for one position and just hoping to get one person to be chosen, the idea of them searching for a specific person by playing team-based games just doesn't make that much sense to me. And the story is also set up to where I wouldn't be surprised if this is all just one big trick, just to kind of get them all to, give themselves fully to the game and just kind of hope and strive to be the best they can be, and then ultimately build up this ultimate team of just insanely good players. That's just my little theory. I'm sure there's others out there that agree with what I'm saying, but then also maybe disagree as well. So let me know in the comments what you feel about that, or if you feel that it is genuinely just one person for one position. Also, I just gotta kind of be honest. I don't think a single character out of all these winning, even our MC, would be a satisfying ending. I just think there's too many characters that I like for them to only just pick one. I feel like there has to be something for the other characters as well, so I just don't think it's a one person kind of thing, And then also, it seems like every episode they bring in another character that I like, or another character that I want to see more of, so I just didn't expect this anime to have such a good roster. So I think now, after watching it, I just don't believe that there's one person that's gonna kind of win everything. And something else I didn't expect was that this anime is just pure hype. This anime does have a ton of intense moments, and maybe it's because I'm just getting into sports anime, so maybe these type of hype moments are more common within sports anime, and I just don't know that yet. But Blue Lock is seriously one of the most gripping shows. You mix in these crazy intense moments of them scoring or going down the field with the super over-the-top animation. It just makes every moment feel important, or like life or death, I think especially around episode 10 is where things, for me, felt super hype. The matchup against Team V is so far one of the best moments in the show, and I think truly displays the pure essence of Blue Lock. I would suggest everyone watching the show, if they like it or are not maybe fully gripped to it yet, to keep watching and see how you feel with the Team V match, because that's for me when I really felt like Blue Lock solidified itself as a must-watch show. It made me feel the same feeling I would get in like the All Might fights in My Hero and stuff like that, but just in soccer instead. It just had my eyes glued to the screen the entire time. I will also say here, I think them consistently changing who our MC is working with is actually really interesting, because in a lot of shows we see our MC around kind of the same general people, but being that the games change and the teams also seem to change within those games, I imagine we'll get more and more different team ups that might challenge our main character in different ways. Overall, man, this anime is pure awesome. I am so hyped to keep watching the show because I can't wait to see what the next matchup is like, the next obstacle, or anything like that for our teammates. It's just always so exciting. My only concern is that with so many characters, we could maybe see some really cool or interesting ones get pushed to the side, but so far I trust the show and it hasn't really done anything like that yet, so I'm not too worried about it. Blue Lock is one of the best anime currently out in my opinion, and I think if you're not fully into sports anime but are interested in it, Blue Lock is a perfect show to start. It has great characters, great action, and awesome aesthetic that honestly just never gets old, and has some of the most hype moments I've seen in anime in a long time. I hope the show continues to be great. I do own the first volume of manga, and I have heard some people say the manga is better, so maybe I might switch up to that now that I'm caught up. I might just move to the manga to keep it going, but I don't know, the anime is just so good, and I love the animation. So if you guys have read and watched Blue Lock, let me know what you guys think is the best way to consume it. You can go ahead and click here to watch my video essay on why Jump Force failed, probably my favorite video I've ever made, and you can also click here to see if you guys should read or watch Demon Slayer. And if you really like the video, you can go and subscribe here too. Thanks for watching to the end. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me, and have a good one.